Hey everybody, Scott with Tango Down Production here. This is a video response, more or less, to millerusaf's one-handed malfunction clearing drill with an AR-15. And I stress that because that's the only weapon system that we're covering right now. The platform is the AR-15. I'm not covering AK-47, SCAR, ACR, any of that other stuff. So, which if you find this technique available to use with those platforms, great. But anyway, couple differences. I am going to regurgitate one of the techniques that he used. I've actually seen it used in the past, and I agree with him 100%. It's a really good technique. But I want to point out one thing first, okay? In a gunfight, okay, you got adrenaline going on, your heart's in your throat, your heart rate's up. If you're in a gunfight and you're shooting, and you take a round of this hand and it takes this hand out of the fight, doesn't necessarily mean your whole arm's out of the fight, okay? If you've got to come in and you got to tap, and then you can come in with your forearm. If you're like me, you got a Badger tack latch on your charging handle, or you're running the BCM Gunfighter charging handle, and you can hit that with your arm and come through and rack it, then great. You know, just because you take a round of the hand doesn't mean your whole arm's out of the fight. But for today's practical application, we're going to assume that this entire arm is out of the gunfight. You took multiple rounds, one to the hand, one to the forearm, and say one to the brachial plexus tie-in here, and your whole arm just went out. So you don't have the availability to use this arm for any reason whatsoever. Say, okay? Alright, I also don't have, like he had on his ARs, a front sight gas block system. Okay, I've got a flip up. But that's not going to come into play. You can still utilize that technique, I'll show you here in a second, without having to have the A2 front sight post. Alright, without further ado, alright, first things first, alright, I am running my 9mm AR today, and the reason for that is because it makes this ease of application. Alright, so you're here. Alright, and we are using dummy rounds today. I know all of y'all know me well enough, but for those of you who don't, this is in fact a dummy round. It looks like a live round, but there's no primer and no powder. I made this on my reloading press specifically for running malfunction drills. Okay, now that's out of the way. Alright, so you've taken a round, you're here, you're shooting, and you got one hand, oh hell, you got a click, no bang. Just like Miller talked about, you come in, you tap that on your knee, okay? I like to come in here just like he did, and I trapped it. Now I'm sitting on my rail system. Alright, if you've got an angled foregrip, be careful. You could poke yourself in a sensitive place that would not feel good. Alright, so be mindful of that if you're running a vertical foregrip. So you're here, okay? This weapon ain't going anywhere. I've got it, alright? I just racked it, I come up, I'm back in the fight. Alright? Pretty fast, pretty efficient for just having to run it with one hand. Alright? Now, from here, we're going to discuss shooting to lockback real quick and just cover reloading for a second. Alright, so now, alright, I've shot this thing to lockback. Alright? Now, I'm empty. Oh geez, I'm empty. Alright, I got to get this thing back in the fight. Alright, so you're going to get rid of that mag. You don't need it anymore. Alright? Now, I can't come in here and load it from here, alright, because I'm blocking my mag well. Now, I know Miller talked about not wanting to put your muzzle down on the deck. Alright, well, newsflash, you're in a gunfight. Alright, you're going to have to do what you have to do in order to survive and get through. Alright, and this is the only way I really see it feasible, because I can rest the receiver up against my leg. I can still look around, keep situational awareness while I need to get to my spare mag, or my fresh magazine. Okay? If you, because most of us here are going to run a sling. That's why I'm running this the way I would run this if I were out in the field right now. Okay? So, I'm here. My spare magazine's over here, alright? So before I put this in the deck, I'm going to rest it here because it gets the weapon out of the way. I can get straight to the magazine, come over here, alright? I can release my clip, get my mag out. You want to put this on the ground, that's fine. I don't propose that simply because if I've got to get up and move quick, and my magazine's on the ground and I take off running, I just let my magazine back on the deck. Stick it in your mouth. Alright? Alright. Come in here. And you don't need to put a lot of pressure down on this, alright? Just enough. Support it. Come in with your mag. Okay? Tug, you got it. Now me, I got a bad lever. Bang, I'm back at the battery. Life is good. For those of you who aren't running a Magpul bad lever on the side of your AR and you still need to get that into battery, two options. One, you can come over if you want and you can run the charging handle, alright, if you want to come over the top, alright, because like Miller pointed out in his video, he comes up underneath. That ain't going to work for me because I'm running a 1-point. Okay? What I propose you do is just take in your left knee, come over here, and just hit it. Just tap it with your left knee and the bolt release, and that'll be all you need, and it'll go forward just fine. Okay? So, alright, so that's that. Now, we're moving on to the nasty, the double feed. Alright, double feeds are bad, bad, bad. Alright? Now, here's the deal. As you see, I'm running my molly belt today. That's how I'd be running if I was, again, out shooting and moving and grooving. Zombie apocalypse came, I had to grab my shit and head out the door. This is what I'd look like. Alright? So, if you've got a secondary, if you get a double feed, you go to your secondary. You punch out with that. Don't try to clear this. Alright? Somebody posted on his video and said, well, what if you don't have a secondary? Or, I would just transition my secondary. Well, what if the enemy's throwing unicorns and fairy dust at us? I mean, you can what if this to death, alright? Bottom line is, if you've got this, you go to it in the event your long gun has a double feed. So you check it, double feed crap, get this out of the way, come in, punch out with your sidearm, and get busy. Alright? So, but we're going to go on the premise that you don't have a sidearm, and you got to clear the double feed. So now we're going to set it up. Okay, round in the chamber. Alright. Alright. Double feed, folks. For those of you who haven't seen it, okay? You know what that's called? That's called an extremely bad day. Double feeds are no fun. Now, I have not found a way. Now, the way you're supposed to do this is you're supposed to lock your bolt to the rear and strip magazine. Well, without the use of this hand on an AR-15, I have not found a way to efficiently, 100% of the time, have it work, lock my bolt to the rear without the use of my support hand. I don't know how to do it, guys. So the only way and the only solution I've come up with on this is you put your muzzle in the deck at a cant, put some pressure down on it, support the frame with your knee, okay? You come in and grab this magazine, kind of like a beer can, except use your thumb to hit your magazine release. You're going to have to forcibly strip that out of there, okay? Now I understand this is 9mm AR. Again, that's why I'm using this, because it's not hard to do. On a 223, 308, 6.8 SBC, 7.62 by 3.9, whatever, it's going to be a lot tougher, and I highly suggest that you practice that as well. Okay? So, this magazine, if it's still got rounds in it, I want to retain this, okay? Because if you got a double feed, the chances are your extractor came off of a weak rim on a case, alright? It's not necessarily the magazine's fault, as it could be just so much as you just had the extractor come off of a shell casing, and it was the shell casing that was the fault. But regardless, I've got live rounds here in a gunfight. I need these, alright? Now, for this, I have to set this on the ground. You try to run them with you in your mouth, it just gets in the way. So I put this down, alright? Now, I come back into here, alright? Because I want gravity to help me here. Now, on the rack, okay, I've got that one, got all the rounds cleared out of the chamber. I come back in here. Gotta steal a live round for a second. There we go. So I'll come back in here, I'll seat, tug, and then I'll come back into here a second time and charge it, because that's the easiest for me to do. If you're here, and as you saw, my muzzle slides a little bit on the carpet, but on the earth or on the concrete, it might do the same. That's why I'm not a big fan of charging it from here. Plus, it's just not that sturdy for me. So I like to bring it back into here when I charge it. Now you're back up in the gunfight. It's slow, time consuming, and under stress, it's hard to do. So I recommend lots and lots of practice. I wouldn't recommend it with live fire. Simply because it's dangerous, and if you have other people on the range, you're going to scare the life out of them because you're going to be muzzling them. So anyway, guys, there it is. I hope you found the video informational. Thank you guys very much for watching. I love all of you. Please be safe the holiday season. Have a great Christmas.